Okay, let's call this meeting of the Haysville Planning Commission to order. First item of business is roll call.
Williams.
Here.
True.
Here.
Coleman. Here. Asia.
Here.
Wallace. Rinky.
Here.
Blood.
Here.
Next item of business is the presentation and approval of minutes of May 22nd, 2025.
I move we accept them as presented.
Second.
A motion second to approve the minutes as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Abstain.
Those opposed? Any abstentions?
Aye.
One. No public forum, correct?
Nope.
Under new business, we have a public hearing for request of partial vacation of utility easement generally located at 940 East Dietrich. To protect the rights of all parties involved and in order to create an opportunity for everyone to speak their opinions, present information, the Haysville Planning Commission follows a specific procedure in reaching a decision. A copy is available by the door. We are now formally open for the public hearing to consider vacation of a portion of the platted utility easement. Do members of the Planning Commission have a conflict of interest in this case?
No.
No. Have any members received any written or electronic communication in this matter?
No.
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 Staff, please present.
So again, this is a vacation request for the property located at 1940 East Dietrich Avenue. The applicant is requesting said vacation because they have constructed an accessory structure for their air compressor and 3 AC units, all on concrete pads in the utility easement. These were all built without a building permit, and they were discovered by the city earlier this year by our building inspector when I believe he was out on some site inspections. But these structures encroach on the utility easement on the north side of the property by about 5.5 feet. The easement is only 10 feet in width, and the applicant is requesting said vacation to come into conformance with city code. After we discovered them, we had to issue a violation because per city code, no structures are allowed in any easements. We have not seen any public comment on this vacation request yet, but it was sent out for review by all utility companies and our city engineer. Kansas One Gas had no conflicts. Cox noted that they had a line going underneath one of the AC pads, but that is 1940 East Dietrich, so that's not a concern. But there was one that could potentially need removed if the vacation is approved. Evergy and AT&T did object with no leniency. There were not no recommendations to get that approved with them. And because they were objecting, staff is having to request denial. It's best if the utility easement remain as it is platted so that all utility companies have proper access and service to it, and to avoid the high cost of relocation for the property owner. So upon denial of the vacation, the accessory structure and the AC units would remain in violation of city code, and the applicant would have to remove these structures if a utility company requested it at their own cost.
Any questions for staff?
No.
Are the applicants or their agents present?
Yes, one of the property owners is here
Do
today.
you wish to speak at all? Or?
No, it's pretty straightforward. We just hired some companies that didn't pull permits, and we didn't
Understood.
know any better, so unfortunately, we'll work with it and do what's needed, so.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any member of the public wish to speak? Seeing none, no questions for the public from the commission. No rebuttal, I assume. Public comment is now closed for commission action. The floor is open to commissioners' comments. Thoughts?
None. Do you have any idea what it would cost to have that removed?
The estimates that we got, it's gonna be about $140,000.
But
I mean, we're a machine shop, so they're not small air conditioners. I
Yeah.
mean, for our size of a building, it would heat or cool much larger spaces for regular
how long have they been sitting there in violation?
8 years.
And although Evergy and others object to it, they've got equipment in the easement now and are functioning and serving not only you but your neighbors
Yes, sir.
without any problem.
And
So,
AT&T ran a line last summer and we didn't, you know,
yeah, they worked around it.
any questions?
It's not ideal, but
No.
I think our issue with vacating it would be that easement would have no benefit to us and could hinder any other utility's ability to not only serve you, but serve your neighbors. And that's what the easement is for their ability to serve all the customers within that area. But if they've got their facilities in there to be able to serve it, I don't see any reason why you can't leave that until it becomes a problem for someone and then deal with it down the line. But the vacation to cut that easement effectively in more than half is personally where I have the issue. You know, once we do that, we can't go back on it. And I think the easier thing to do is just let that sit in violation, knowing that if ever somebody needed to go through that easement and couldn't get it done in the remaining 5.5 feet, that's something we'll address when we get there, but no reason to move it right away especially at that cost that you're describing. So
We greatly appreciate it and we would work with, if it needs to be moved, we'll move it.
well, and I think that's what staff's saying is, you know, it's not ideal, and we definitely would encourage everyone else in town to not place items in the easement because this is what happens. But
Yes.
in this one case, I think it's better for everybody if we deny this vacation, but let that equipment sit until it becomes a point where it can't sit there any longer. So,
What's the penalty for the violation? How long can that go on now that it's become aware?
It would be up to like staff discretion to actually enforce the penalty, but the penalty I believe is $500 max fine or imprisonment, 6 months in jail, I think, or a combination of the two. But we usually only go to those extents when the property owner is not willing to work with the city. And they've obviously demonstrated willingness to work with the city because we have our vacation application in.
Do we have the ability to deny the vacation, but also formally refuse to enforce the penalty unless a company has a reason to object?
I don't know that the refusal to apply what is the effective ordinance or whatever is making that is our decision. I think that should be left up to council, but that could be our recommendation. But I don't honestly see that that's the direction this is heading, both for us and for you. Jail time sounds pretty serious to me, but, and I'm a little surprised that that's what's on the table here, to be honest, but I think leaving it to where if something needs to be moved to accommodate a utility in there, that it's your responsibility to move it is, I'm comfortable with, sounds like you're comfortable with.
Yes.
And I honestly hope that it wouldn't get to that point, but I would be hesitant for us to waive that when I think it's probably council that has the actual ability to waive that and maybe not us. I don't know that for sure, but that'd be my expectation.
Can
We
we
have
make that
some
a
plans
recommendation?
to grow. I mean, we're an aerospace machine shop, so we're finally getting over the hump of a new business. So we will need to grow, so we're looking at plans of expanding on the property. And when we do, the new building would have the structure where we could put the air conditioners on the roof, and we'll build a room inside for the air compressors, so then we can
Yeah.
clear the whole thing out.
And honestly, I don't know for sure, but I would guess that staff would not issue a building permit for that without addressing the equipment that's in the
That's
easement.
fair. I'm
And
okay with that.
that seems fair to me, as long as it does to you, but
I mean, being a business owner, I didn't realize when you hire a good reputable air conditioning, 2 different air conditioning companies and a third company to build the little lean-to for our air compressors, that they didn't pull permits, so.
yeah.
It's, I'm learning the hard way, so.
Well, for ourselves and what I'm assuming is tens of viewers, I appreciate this as a cautionary tale so that at least hopefully some good can come out of it and we can educate everyone else so that they know that the correct process is to pull permits and make sure that you have everything in order, otherwise things like this can happen, so.
Yes.
As the best thing that can come of this, hopefully that at least is it.
I think a lot of people see permits as an obstacle, but really they're to protect you, make sure everything's done right and stuff doesn't come up later.
And the city, yeah.
Yeah, I know better now. I wish I would have checked on the companies, but, you know, they were doing the work, but.
So,
Is
in
there,
the interest of progressing this along,
well, is there a way that we could offer an exception or a recommendation?
I think we can recommend to council that
Okay. I would like to.
extreme
recommend council-
case, however you want to word your motion,
Yeah.
but I would just be hesitant to say that we have the authority to do that, because I'm not sure that we do.
Yeah.
I can go ahead and move that we
Can I ask
deny
one
the
question
vacation.
first?
Yeah.
Can I ask one more question? So what if in a year down the road or before you build the building, that somebody needs in that easement and they need that stuff moved, can they put it back where it is currently sitting until it needs to be moved, until the other building's built or whatever? So if they need in and they need that stuff moved, can he pull it out? They do what they need to do underground or whatever,
I think
and
it's a
could he put
concrete
it
pad
back
that would have to be
until,
removed.
or would it have to be, once it's removed, it couldn't go back?
I'm not putting it back.
No, I'm saying,
If
but
I'm moving it out just to get, to give them the right of way, the money I'm spending to do that, it wouldn't be worth it to put it back. So.
You'd have to bring a crane in to move it, is what you're saying, and.
For
Yeah.
two of the air conditioners, yes, a crane will be needed.
Okay.
So, I mean, that's how they went in, so, you know, I assumed with cranes and stuff like that, that the company we hired did all the right due diligence, but, you know, so.
I just didn't want you to have to move everything in a year and then not, or 6 months and then not be able to put it back, you know, and be rushing to try and figure out how to do it. That's
Oh,
why,
it's-
that's where I was
well,
going with that.
Especially in the summertime, the air conditioner is totally critical for our machines. We can't hold tolerance on the parts and everything without it, so, it would be, and the air compressors, we can't do anything without
Yeah.
those, so, it would be a very stressful, time for us, but we'd make it, we'll make things work. I mean, that's what we do, so.
I would just want to at least have the recommendation that it stays with the property and is known, because I'm not saying your business is gonna go out of business, but we all know that things change within an economy, but the building and the equipment is going to be there, so if
Yeah.
something changes, we just need to be aware that if they're gonna make changes to that building, that needs to move, if there are changes that
And
happen on the property.
That would be triggered by any building permit, I would assume, correct?
Yeah, I think, we should have in our ordinance that a building permit wouldn't be issued if there was a code violation.
Okay.
Sorry.
I will move that we deny the vacation request, but also that we recommend to the council not to take any enforcement action unless there comes such a time that it's required that they have to move it for the utilities.
I'll second that.
Sorry, just thinking that wording through. Okay, I have a motion and second to deny and recommend to council that
That they don't follow up on any enforcement activities.
at this time.
At this time.
All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you and best of luck.
Thank you.
Next item under new business is a review of the bicycle and pedestrian master plan.
So this is our annual review of the bike and pedestrian plan. We updated all of the page numbers in our table of contents to make sure they were accurate for what's actually in the document now, and updated some of the completed projects. Under the priority improvement section, those were updated. And then on the 4th page, I believe, we've added in that WAMPO is going to be doing automatic counters for bike and pedestrian counts, and they're going to test those out in Haysville this fall. But those are the extent of our updates for this year.
Mechanical counters?
Automatic, I think, is the bikes go through, it should count automatically.
Yeah, the old, we've been doing this for a while, and the old method was to set someone out there and have them make tallies on the sheet, so,
We still are doing that,
oh, okay.
but we should also
But we're
have,
trying out the new ones.
Yes.
Right, okay, good.
What is the mechanical one?
It's, depending on which unit they have, it's either a radar unit or a pneumatic unit where you roll over the tubes, but a
Okay.
radar unit would just
That just
trigger
click
anytime
down.
anybody passed by, and you would chain it to a pole or something at about chest height, so it would pick up
Okay.
pedestrians walking by. And we covered all the new sidewalks that have been built or are currently being built, and
yep,
updated the plan to make it current, and Okay.
updated all of our maps as well.
and what do you need from us?
A
A recommendation to approve the changes?
Motion to approve. This doesn't need to go before council.
Okay.
I move that we accept the plan and recommend forwarding to the council for adoption.
No,
No,
sorry, she just said we have to approve it ourselves, not forward.
then I recommend that we approve the plan as
Okay,
presented.
thank you.
I'll second.
A motion and second to approve the plan as presented. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? No old business,
Nope.
no correspondence. Off agenda, the next meeting date?
July 10th.
Sorry, what?
July 10th.
Item 9.
I move we adjourn.
I'll second that.
A motion and second to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you, everybody.